Hey everybody, Coach JB.
Kevin, anytime.
All right guys, today we're going to just get right into it. Today we're going to talk about something that will change and revolutionize your life. Those who have ears to hear will listen. And if you don't want your life changed, I'd highly recommend you unsubscribe. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you don't like it, click the down button. But if you do like it, click the up button and leave a comment. Was that confusing enough? Now, there was a reason why I did that, because those were all decisions you had to make. And today we're going to talk about something that will absolutely change your life. It's called decisive action. Okay? I just asked you to make decisive action. To either like the video, not like the video, to comment, not to comment, to watch, or not to watch. Your choice to continue to watch this could change your whole timeline. Your choice, well, you wouldn't know if you're not watching this, could derail your timeline. So decisive action is one of the most important tools you can have in your tool belt. Now, the good thing is it only took us about 14 years to get to this conclusion. So we want to give you the cheat code. I remember when I don't play video games now in my age now. The last video game I remember playing is Contra. Did you ever play Contra?
Yeah.
Okay, so it had the little thing. I remember it was like up, down, left, right, BA, whatever. Okay, so it was pretty neat because I wasn't the greatest video gamer. So when I found out the cheat code, of course I went right to the cheat code. So imagine if we were going to give you the cheat code right now. Would you have a pen and paper in your hand? If you don't, go get a pen and paper right now. Let's pause for just a moment. Think that's enough time?
Yep.
Okay, cool. You can hit pause too. All right, so you got your pen and paper. All right, guys, so we're going to talk about decisive action. The reason why we're bringing this up is because we're going to start to teach and show people what we did to get to where we're at right now. So 14 years ago, I attempted suicide on December 18, 2006. I'm sure you heard the story over and over again, but it's very important to go backwards in the timeline to help you understand the decisive actions we've made to connect and be together here in the Warrior Academy, doing this video and predicting the future, because we will be millionaires. Next time we do this video, June 11, 2021, we will be multimillionaires. That is a fact. Okay, that is already a fact. It's already written in the history books, and we're going to tell you why. Because we've made decisive action. Now, every decision you're going to make today, like still watching this video, is a decision. And that decision may give you some information that will open up your mind to change your next timeline. Every decision you make is going to affect your timeline. Also, indecision will affect your timeline. So let me explain, okay? So we went through the pandemic just like everybody else. We're still in the pandemic right now, right? So now, well, I don't know if we're locked down, but a lot of states are opening back up, and now we have the riots. There's all kinds of different focuses going on, right? It was tragedy. We had Kobe Bryant. That was just unbelievably tragic, right? Media, boom, coronavirus, boom, 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 riots, boom, boom, George Floyd, rest his soul. It's like just constant chaos. Our business got shut down. We're considered a gym, right? And so our gym got shut down during the pandemic. Businesses around us are going out of business. A bunch of my friends lost their gyms. But for some reason, we had a totally different experience, okay? We're not going to talk about that part of it today. What we're going to talk about is decisive decisions we made that completely shifted our timeline, and why this same time, June 11, 2021, we will be multimillionaires. Because we made decisive decisions during that time, and we figured out after years and years of practicing it, that is it. You can do all the books in the world, you can read all the podcasts in the world, but until you start to make decisive action, then knowledge is not power. And decisive action, the reason why people don't do it, because right after that decision, there's a period of discomfort which can last a couple seconds, can last a month, can last a year, or 3 years, or 4 years. That's why people don't make decisive action, because on the other side is discomfort for a brief moment in time, because now you're at a new level in the game. So let me give you specific examples so we can help teach you some decisive action. I was in corporate America, in executive banking school, making well over 6 figures, huge bonuses every single year. I lived in this beautiful home on Higley and Brown in Mesa, Arizona. I had a 15,000 square foot yard, barbecue, beautiful trees in the background, trampoline, the freaking hammock. I mean, I had a badass house. I really miss that house, by the way. Had a podcast studio in my garage. This thing was awesome. had this picket fence type family, right? A security, had the 401k, all the stuff that you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to do, which I'm going to be teaching in the future to go the opposite. But I was following all the rules that the world gave me, but something didn't feel right to me when I went to banking school, because I started to learn the banking system at a very, very deep level. So I was in a thing called, you can look it up, CBA, Executive Banking School. So it's a certificate in banking to be an executive banker or whatever, right? So I was vice president of the bank. Now at this time too, the bank that I was with, I'm not going to go into details because there was big lawsuits about it and stuff. The bank that I was with was going through a massive, what's it called when something, not a tragedy, they were getting investigated, the bank I was getting investigated, I can't think of the name of it. There was, what's it called? Not a trial investigation. Well, they went through all that stuff. Anyways, the bank I was working was getting, they're scamming people, put it that way. And so it was a big, large bank. And so I was going through this thing with the bank, and it was just really weird. I'm like, why? There's something wrong here. There's something wrong. Then I'm in banking school, and I started to learn, where does this money come from? I had to build a bank from the ground up, all the way up to inception to go through regulators and stuff like that. Now it was a simulation, right? So it was like a video game. So we had to go through, and I had to make sure that all the numbers lined up, how many ATMs, how many employees we had. And I kept asking the question, where is the money coming from? The Federal Reserve. I always thought the Federal Reserve was part of the government, and I found out it wasn't part of the government. It's a bunch of rich bankers. And I'm like, well, where do they get the money from? Well, it used to be backed by gold, but when Nixon got rid of the gold standard, it's not backed by anything. And I'm like, so where's the money coming from? They're like, well, they just print money. And I'm like, where's the money coming from that they print? And I started to feel this icky feeling in my stomach that something was wrong. Scandal, that's the word I was looking for. Wells Fargo, yeah, scandal, sorry. So Wells Fargo was going through this huge scandal. It's Wells Fargo that I work for, you can look it up. Anyways, but they were going through a scandal, right? It was just a tough, it was national news, whatever. And so I'm like, something is wrong here, something is wrong. And so as I'm going through this, I'm like, keep asking the question, where is this money coming from? And they're like, they just print the money. I'm like, but where is it coming from? And so I started to get this really uncomfortable feeling that I wasn't aligned with the mission and purpose. Now, I'm not saying if you're a banker that it's wrong. It just didn't seem right to me. So my vibrational alignment started to feel really off. So I'm in this weird paradigm where I'm making a lot of money. I have a beautiful home, beautiful wife, beautiful family. There's a turmoil in our relationship. We had a pretty decent relationship, right? They just like anybody else, normal fights and stuff like that. And so I had to make a decisive action based on the feeling I was feeling. I didn't want to feel like that anymore. I was having dreams of being suffocated. The pressure was unbelievable at the bank. It was unbelievable. The money wasn't worth any of it. I was fucking miserable. I couldn't take a shit. Being honest, I was constipated for weeks on end. I was getting like enemas and crazy shit. I mean, that's too much info. My stomach was bloated. I had pictures of myself, my before and after pictures. I was I looked bloated and just swollen. My eyes were all messed up. I was so stressed out, but I had money in the bank. We'd go on these cool vacations, but the whole time I was on vacation, I was thinking about, shit, I got to go back to that. And so I made this decisive decision to jump out of corporate America. I left. I walked away. Now that decisive action is the reason why we're sitting here right now in this position. Everything's exploding right now as we're sitting here talking to you guys. The decisive action had a 3-year really turbulent journey, okay? So I made decisive action and I got rid of plan B. No plan B. I have a degree, a 4-year degree. I have an executive banking degree. I have written books. I could go back and run a bank. I could go right now and be a branch manager at a bank, make 6 figures like that, be comfortable. But I said, no, there is no plan B. So that decisive action came with a growth process. A very icky, sticky, ugly. I got divorced. I lost all my money again, every dime, all the way down to zero, to negative in my account. And I've been there 3 times in my life. But that decisive action, because I stayed through the growth phase and through the pain process, is now equaling massive amounts of abundance right now. What we're experiencing in our personal lives, professional lives, is nothing short of a miracle. But it's because of decisive action. And so what we did about a month ago is we started to realize that is the secret, is that once you decide, when you think of something, you start to verbalize it, you actually have to make the fucking decision to do it. Knowing that the next level of the game, there's going to be new players. knowing that the next level of the game, there's going to be new tools that you need and resources, and knowing that there is a growth gap that you have to. Our whole Warrior Academy is built off that. You have the beginning, right, and then you have the growth phase, and then you go into the warrior part of every single workout, every single program, everything we do is built that way. The growth phase is why 99% of people fail and why 1% of the population owns most of the wealth. Because once you get to this area, the people that are here, they're not below you, but the people that are in the 99%, we're going to judge the living shit out of you. JV, why do you do your finances that way? That's not how you do it. The government says to do this, and you need to go to school, and you need to get a master's degree, and you need to go get a job after you pay $200,000 for an education and make $30,000 a year and never get out of debt. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a great idea. Let me go to school and become an accountant and work for somebody who's miserable and treats me like shit every single day and gives me some paid vacation and gives me a 401k that I saved my whole life for $1 million and I only end up with $50,000 a year, which probably won't even be that much, probably $30,000 in the future. But you can follow the norm, right? No, I decided to make decisive action. Now what we're experiencing is called abundance. So a month ago, we realized that's what it is. So we started making these decisive actions. And I'm going to share, hopefully he's okay with me sharing this. We shared this in our group, but I had to fire Kevin about 3 months ago, not even 3 months. I had to fire Kevin. Check this out. We ran out of money because our gym got shut down. I had to let Brian and Kevin go. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my fucking life. I had to call one of my best friends and say, Kev, I got to let you go, man. Oh, I get chills talking about this. Okay, so every decision I made and decision he made and every decision Brian made opened up the floodgates to abundance. Follow me through this. I had to make a decision to call him and let him go to keep the business open so we can help serve clients, right? I had to cut my paycheck to zero, fired him, fired Brian. Let them go because of the pandemic. It was because we lost 78% of our clients because we have an in-person academy here. So I made a decisive decision. It was my CFO was like, get on the phone with him right now. Boom, I made the decision. We got off, and Kev shows up the next day. He makes a decisive decision, and I don't know what he's going to go into, so I won't mess up his story. But he made a decisive decision to show up the next day. Brian made a decisive decision to show up, and we all worked for free during the pandemic. We built the Academy app. We made decisive decisions. We turned our gym into a hybrid, and we did all this stuff knowing that there was going to be turbulence through it. And because we made decisive action, and we followed through with that decisive action, we are now experiencing more abundance than we've ever experienced in our lives. And I confidently can say on this video, futuristically, that June 11, 2021, we will be multimillionaires because of decisive action. And here's the thing, warriors. You all, every single one of you watching this, all 10 of you, no, I'm just kidding. It should be 1 million views, right? It'll be 1 million views. Right. All 10 of you watching this, because we're going to, anyways. But you will be a millionaire if you follow these tools confidently. If you start to make decisive action. But here's why 99% of the people follow the masses. It's because it's really uncomfortable. But you have to make a decision right now. Would you rather be uncomfortable being broke all the time? Fights with your spouse, partner, loved one because you can't afford to go anywhere? Happen to use a credit card to go on vacation? Not being able to drive a beautiful, maybe you want a BMW. It's a fucking ultimate driving machine. I've had 3 BMWs in my life. So one of my dream cars is an H1 Hummer. I've always wanted an H1 since I was a little kid. I had an H2 when I had my old business, and I'm going for nostalgia-wise, I'm going to buy an H1 Hummer because is it great for the earth and stuff like that, but the emissions, no, but it's something I've always wanted, and for hard work, I'm going to buy one because that's what I've always wanted that, and I deserve it because I've worked very, very hard. I don't buy anything, and so I'm going to get myself an H1 Hummer because it's just such a cool fucking car, man. It's just so neat, and it's just, there's a personal story behind it too as well, which is part of the timeline. But we just want to encourage you guys, and we're going to start to come with these types of videos and be more open about the things that we're doing to a certain extent, because the ears that are willing to listen will listen and will understand and will seek to understand. And the last thing I want to say before I kick it over to Kev is listen to everybody, question everything. Okay? We are not your coaches. If you think we're full of shit, then research it. Please do. Don't listen, then go research. Listen to Kev, go research. Listen to Brian, go research. Form your own fucking opinion. We're not trying to tell you how to live. We're telling you what's working for us. And if it resonates with you, great, but research the shit out of it. And we got a bunch of podcast mics showing up on Friday. We're gonna start interviewing each other and doing a group interview type thing where I'm gonna start talking about in the future how I do my finances, and it's completely unorthodox. And people are gonna be like, question it, go research it. It could flop. I don't think it's gonna flop because I've always made it every single time. So listen to everybody, question everything, and take decisive action. It will change your life. So some of you right now need to make a decision. Some of you are in a very shitty relationship being controlled. Cut it off. Cut that shit off. Oh, you're not supposed to get divorced. It's against the law. You're in a shitty relationship that's not moving your family forward, not moving your kids forward. It's not going to get any better because neither one of you are working on it. Cut it off. Oh, he's going to get mad or she's going to get mad. They're going to get violent. Call the police. Like, fucking make a goddamn decision. Nobody can control you. It's this. It's this. You want to start a business? Then fucking do it. You may lose the business. That's okay. But you can't go backwards in the timeline, warriors. You can't go backwards in the timeline. Many of you are going back into relationships. Don't go backwards in the timeline. Do not go backwards in the timeline. The person has to come into your timeline. Do not go backwards in the timeline. That's called comfort. Comfort will keep you exactly where you are right now. If you're happy where you're at, don't make any decisive action. But I don't think if you want more out of your life, you probably haven't made it this far 15 minutes into the video. So I'm going to kick over to Kevin. I'm going way too long. Cool. Just realized it's 15 minutes.
Yeah, the decisive action, man. Yeah, it's... Well, so what we've been experiencing is making decisive action and recognizing patterns and making decisive action on either eliminating that and recognizing that or accepting that of what it is, right? And so I'm a big fan of Back to the Future, and I always have been because I love the effects in the car and everything like that, but what it helped me to realize at a really young age was that every decision affects your future, like every single one. That's what blew my mind, like when Marty go back in time and he talked to Doc and he finally get him to realize that he's actually from another time, and he's like, don't talk to anybody, don't move anything, don't say anything, like, because it literally all of those little decisive actions can shift you into a whole different timeline. And that's what's been really interesting to me as far as the decisions that I make and what I'm deciding to do going forward. And you really have to, first of all, to be able to do that, you have to let go of the fear of the unknown. You really do, man. You gotta let that go. We do get very habitual, and we get into a groove that makes us comfortable. And it can go like that for as long as you really actually want it to. It can be that very comfortable pattern for as long as you want to. And that will put you in a process that you will become stagnant at a certain point in time. You will plateau, and you can stay on that plateau and just stay there, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But I don't think you want to do that if you're watching this, right? Because it piqued your interest, the title or whatever the case may be, and you're like, okay, what does this mean? So seeking for those answers is definitely like one of the first steps. You have to really want to figure out, like, okay, what is going on? That's what me and John share, is we really are trying to figure life out. Like, what is this all about? What are we trying to do? You know, we know we're trying to help the masses to understand that they have massive power within inside themselves. But as far as like what do you want out of your own personal living? Like, what do you want to find out when everything is all said and done? Like, how much do you want to have experienced and learned and understood and all of that stuff? So you want to go into just a massive learning phase. Like you said, just question everything, man. Question everything. Do a lot of research and a lot of questioning, like, And I would put on top of that is you personally have to experiment with that stuff that you learn and you understand. Because a perfect example, so my journey kind of started off in the past couple of years. It was like I started listening to this Bob Proctor video. Well, no, actually, initially I was introduced to Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn, he's very charismatic. I loved his style of speaking. So I was just kind of entertained by him. But then I started listening to some of the stuff he was saying, and I'm like, holy crap, dude. Like, okay, he's saying like, live your life in style and, set the sail of your life. And I'm just really listening to this stuff, and I'm like, what is that? Okay, and like, I should really start trying that. But still, I haven't really made a decision, right? So, because I really like his content, so I'm just consuming it. Then I get put onto Bob Proctor, and I'm really consuming Bob Proctor. I love his delivery. His delivery is completely different. It's more strong conviction, just very powerful. The way he's very emotional when he says stuff, and I really like that. It captivated me each time. He's like, you are a spiritual being living in a human existence. Like, that's just what it is. And he's like, you have the power. You have it. It is inside you. Every one of us has it. And his delivery, I'm just like, dude, like, I feel like, okay, I got it. And he had a whole little system program and everything, but I was just consuming it like, ooh, and I'm slowly implementing these little things here and there, like, okay, I'm gonna start doing this and I'm gonna start doing this. But I was just kind of like, I'm just flowing with it. I'm just trying to learn it. I'm just trying to understand it. So I go through that whole thing, and then I just go into just a rabbit hole of just researching all different type of people. Tom Bilyeu's interviewing all these people. I get hip to Dr. Joe Dispenza. John sends me Dr. Bruce Lipton. There's just a whole plethora of people that you can research and really listen to. And I feel like me and John share a certain energy that is a sense of one. I want to say it's like wanting to prove something to oneself of, I want to be just how great can I actually become? How improved can I actually make this physical and my mental capabilities? How far can you actually go? Because we only got, we got a certain amount of time. So how fast and how great and how powerful can you actually become? Like, that's, we keep saying we're going Superman. Like, that's just, I think that is a real thing when you really start to work on yourself. I think you start to reach a different level mentally, physically, and spiritually. I really do. I think you start to understand things on a deeper level and everything. So what happens is I start working with Jay, and we are on this mission. I'm trying to make something, I'm trying to establish something as well, right? I really gravitated to the 3T fitness system, and now we're the 3T Academy, and his vision, I feel like that was a part of what I was attempting to do. And so I was like, man, I think that the way life is trending, like, you have to have a strong team. Like, it's no longer a one-man show. Like, you gotta have a really strong team foundation. I use different examples in the world that I feel like show me that. And in this entire process, I know I need to grow. So the decisive action, I was like, okay, what don't I like doing? What do I feel like I need to improve on? What extra little skill set do I feel like I need? And I was like, man, all of those motivational things, all of that stuff, I did pull some stuff, I did grab some stuff, and I did implement certain things. But there's only so much that we can really just keep in our minds and just kind of flow through the day and do it. You have to write things down. So what Jay created was this Academy app, this system, to where it literally puts you through the daily tasks of, okay, here you go. Here's what you can do today. Here's what you can do today. Here's what you can do today. And it's habit stacking on a part of recognizing what you did for yourself, why you're proud of yourself for the day. all of those things were a silver lining to all of the motivational stuff that I had listened to. I'm talking about from Tony Robbins all the way, Eric Thomas, all of them say that is a silver lining. You have to write these things down. You have to write these things down. And that was like a little last piece to my personal puzzle. Is like I was like, I gotta start writing stuff down. I don't like writing things down. I don't even like really reading a lot. I'm a very avid reader. I can read very well, but I just didn't like the task of doing it. And so I was like, okay, like literally John's book, the You Must Believe Way of Life book, is literally, I can count on my hands as many books as I've actually read and completed in my life, right? And so I was like, I gotta complete this book, man. I gotta go through this system, because it was just a feeling of like, I'm like, that is the next stage, man. I have to do that. So it was a decisive, I was like, I'm gonna do it. There were times where I was like, God damn, I don't want to do this, man. I just don't want to do it. But pushing through that uncomfortable feeling and being like, no, you must complete this. You must complete this. And nobody else, you got to push yourself too, because nobody else was telling me like, hey, you got to do this. You got to do this. Nobody was saying that. He was like, you don't have to do it. You don't have to go through the system. I was like, I know, it's for my personal growth. So going through that and literally, and I'm still going through the program actually as we speak, going through that and adding that little bit of structure to my already like kind of freestyle system that I have within myself was what I needed. And it's weird because like instinctively I didn't know why I wanted to go through the book, but that was like part of it. I knew I needed just one extra little thing on top of what I was doing to be able to get to another level. And doing that has greatly, like, it's just opened up the floodgates, man. So deciding, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, intentionally like focusing, okay, because it's for my personal growth, that the decisive action on that has totally changed me. And if you do that, it is going to change you. If you say, you know what, I keep going to the bar and I keep going to freaking happy hour and I don't like the way I feel, decide, I am going to change that. I am done going to the bar. Be like, I am not going to the bar today because this is the intention I have behind it. This is why I'm deciding to do that. And that is it. Like, boom, I'm done. I'm totally done with it. So we are just really encouraging you to decide and focus in on it, man. Decide and just run with it. It's about a minute left.
That's it, man. That's it. Just focus. That's it. Decide, take action. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to keep coming to you guys' YouTube videos. Have a great day. Take decisive action. Your fucking generation relies on you. Have a great day, guys. Like, subscribe, comment.
Yes.